Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Lord Josh here. Today I bring you all something very special. I'm continuing on with the teachings of Zhuge Liang, Kongming. If you're not familiar, this is my Kongming Three Kingdoms playlist where I cover all aspects of Zhuge Liang's life, such as his Longzhong plan, his inventions, his quotes, how he was recruited by Liu Bei. I've covered the mythology of this famous feather fan, the stone sentinel maze, his wife Huang Yueying, both of his Chu Shi Biaos, and much, much more. I'm very proud of the work that I've done with this playlist. In this video, I'm going to be reading from the book 36 Stratagems. It is believed by some that Kongming is the author of the book, whilst others say it is Sun Tzu. Some historians say it was neither, and many authors over the years have contributed towards it, in the form of written and oral history. However, it is still a part of Kongming's legacy, and the book is attributed to him, so that's why I'm covering it. Let's jump in and see what we have here. Chapter 1. Winning Stratagems. Deceive the heavens to cross the sea. Mask one's real goals from those in authority who lack vision by not alerting them to one's movements or any part of one's plan. Besiege Wei to rescue Zhu. When the enemy is too strong to be attacked directly, attack something they cherish. The idea is to avoid a head-on battle with a strong enemy and instead strike at their weakness elsewhere. This will force the strong enemy to retreat in order to support their weakness. Battling against a tired and dispirited enemy will give a much higher chance of success. Kill with a borrowed knife. Attack using the strength of another when in a situation where using one's own strength is not favorable. For example, trick an ally into attacking them or use the enemy's own strength against them. The idea is to cause damage to the enemy via a third party. Wait at leisure while the enemy labors. It is advantageous to choose the time and place for battle while the enemy does not. Encourage the enemy to expend their energy in futile quests while one conserves their strength. When the enemy is exhausted and confused, attack with energy and purpose. Loot a burning house. When a country is beset by internal problems such as disease, famine, corruption and crime, it is poorly equipped to deal with an outside threat. Keep gathering internal information about an enemy. If the enemy is in its weakest state, attack them without mercy and annihilate them to prevent future troubles. Make a sound in the east, then strike in the west. In any battle, the element of surprise can provide an overwhelming advantage. Even when face to face with an enemy, surprise can still be employed by attacking where they least expect it. Create an expectation in the enemy's mind through the use of a feint. Manipulate the enemy to focus their resources somewhere before attacking elsewhere that is poorly defended. Tactically, this is known as an open feint. Chapter 2. Enemy Dealing Stratagems. Create something from nothing. A plain lie. Make somebody believe there was something when there is in fact nothing, or vice versa. Openly repair the gallery roads, but sneak through the passage of Chenzhang. Deceive the enemy with an obvious approach that will take a very long time, while ambushing them with another approach. It is an extension of make a sound in the east, then strike in the west tactic. But instead of merely spreading misinformation to draw the enemy's attention, physical decoys are used to further misdirect the enemy. The decoys must be easily seen by the enemy to draw their attention while acting as if they are meant to do what they are falsely doing to avoid suspicion. Today, sneaking through the passage of Chenzhang also has the meaning of having an affair or doing something that is illegal. Watch the fires burning across the river. Delay entering the field of battle until all other parties become exhausted by fighting amongst each other. Go in at full strength and finish them off. Hide a knife behind a smile. Charm and ingratiate oneself with the enemy. When their trust is gained, move against them in secret. Sacrifice the plum tree to preserve the peach tree. There are circumstances where short-term objectives must be sacrificed in order to gain the long-term goal. This is the scapegoat strategy when someone suffers the consequences so that the rest do not. Take the opportunity to pilfer a goat. While carrying out one's plans, be flexible enough to take advantage of any opportunity that presents itself, however small, and avail oneself of any profit, however slight. Chapter 3. Offensive Stratagems. Stomp the grass to scare the snake. Do something unaimed but spectacular, hitting the grass to provoke a response from the enemy. Startle the snake to have them give away their plans or position. Do something unusual, strange, and unexpected to arouse the enemy's suspicion and disrupt their thinking. It is more widely used as a warning. Do not startle the snake by hitting the grass. An imprudent act will give one's position or intentions away to the enemy. Borrow a corpse to resurrect the soul. Take an institution, a technology, a method, or even an ideology that has been forgotten or disregarded, and appropriate it for one's own purposes. Lure the tiger down the mountain. Never directly attack an opponent whose advantage is derived from their position. Instead, lure them away from their position to separate them from their source of strength. In order to capture, one must let loose. Cornered prey will often mount a final desperate attack. To prevent this, let the enemy believe they still have a chance for freedom. Their will to fight is hampered by their desire to escape. The enemy's morale will be depleted and they will surrender without a fight when the illusion of escape is revealed. Tossing out a brick to lure a jade gem. Bait someone by making them believe they gained something, or to just make them react to it. Toss out a brick. To obtain something valuable from them in return, get a jade gem. Defeat the enemy by capturing their chief. If the enemy's army is strong but is allied to the commander only by money, superstition, or threats, target the leader. If the commander falls, the rest of the army will disperse or join one side. If they are allied to the leader through loyalty, beware, as the army can continue to fight on after their death out of vengeance. Chapter 4. Chaos Stratagems. Remove the firewood from under the pot. Take out the leading argument or asset of someone. Steal someone's thunder. This is the essence of the indirect approach. Instead of attacking enemies' fighting forces, direct attacks against their ability to wage war. Literally, take the fuel out of the fire. Disturb the water and catch a fish. Create confusion and exploit it to further one's own goals. Slough off the cicada's golden shell. Mask oneself. Either leave one's distinctive traits behind and become inconspicuous, or masquerade as something or someone else. This strategy is mainly used to escape from a stronger enemy. Shut the door to catch the thief. To capture one's enemy, or more generally in fighting wars, to deliver the final blow to the enemy, plan prudently for success. Do not rush into action. Before moving in for the kill, first cut off the enemy's escape routes and any routes from external aid. Befriend a distant state and strike a neighboring one. Invading nations close to oneself carries a higher chance of success. The battlefields are close to one's domain, and as such is easier for one's troops to receive supplies and defend the conquered land. Make allies with nations far away from oneself, as it is unwise to invade them. Obtain safe passage to conquer the state of Guo. Borrow the resources of an ally to attack a common enemy. Once the enemy is defeated, use those resources to turn on the ally that lent them in the first place. Chapter 5. Proximate Stratagems. Replace the beams with rotten timbers. Disrupt the enemy's formations, interfere with their methods of operations, and change the rules that they are used to following. In this way, the supporting pillar, the common link that makes a group of men an effective fighting force, is removed. Point at the mulberry tree while cursing the locust tree. To discipline, control, or warn others whose status or position excludes them from direct confrontation, use analogy and innuendo. Without directly naming names, those accused cannot retaliate without revealing their complicity. Feign madness, but keep your balance. Pretend to be incompetent to create confusion about one's intentions and motivations. Lure the opponent into underestimating one's ability until they drop their guard. Remove the ladder when the enemy has ascended to the roof. With baits and deceptions, lure the enemy into treacherous terrain and cut off their lines of communication and escape routes. To save themselves, they must fight both one's own forces and the elements of nature. Decorate the tree with false blossoms. Tying silk blossoms on a dead tree gives the illusion that the tree is healthy. Using artifice and disguise makes something worthless appear valuable and vice versa. Make the host and the guest exchange roles. Usurp leadership in a situation where one is normally subordinate. Infiltrate one's target. Initially, pretend to be a guest to be accepted, but develop from inside and become the owner later. Chapter 6. Desperate Stratagems. The Beauty Trap, Honeypot. Send the enemy beautiful women to cause discord within his camp. This strategy can work on 3 levels. First, the ruler becomes so enamored with the beauty that he neglects his duties and allows his vigilance to wane. Second, the group of men will begin to have issues if the desired women court other men, thus creating conflict and aggressive behavior. Third, other females at court, motivated by jealousy and envy, begin to plot subversions that further exacerbate the situation. The empty fort strategy. We all know this one from Kong Ming from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, very famous strategy. When the enemy has stronger forces and one expects to be overrun at any moment, act calmly and taunt the enemy, so that the enemy thinks they are walking into an ambush. This stratagem is only successful if in most cases one has a powerful hidden force and the stratagem is seldom used. Let the enemy's own spy sow discord in the enemy camp. Undermine the enemy's ability to fight by secretly causing discord between them and their friends, allies, advisors, family, commanders, soldiers, and population. While they are preoccupied with settling the internal disputes, their ability to attack or defend is compromised. Inflict injury on oneself to win the enemy's trust. Pretending to be injured has 2 advantages. First, the enemy is lulled into lowering their guard, since as they no longer consider one to be an immediate threat. Second, ingratiating oneself with the enemy by pretending the injury was caused by a mutual enemy conserves one's strength while one's enemies fight each other. Chain stratagems. In important matters, one should use several stratagems applied simultaneously after another, as in a chain of stratagems. Keep different plans operating in an overall scheme. If one strategy fails, apply the next strategy. If all else fails, retreat. If it becomes obvious that one's current course of action will lead to defeat, retreat and regroup. When one side is losing, 3 choices remain: surrender, compromise, or escape. Surrender is complete defeat. Compromise is half defeat, but escape is not defeat. As long as one is not defeated, there is still a chance. This is the most famous of the stratagems and is immortalized in the form of the Chinese idiom of the 36 stratagems, fleeing is best. So there you have it, the 36 stratagems, fascinating stuff. It's also worth noting that a few sites such as Wikipedia list the author as a man named Wang Jingzi, a general whom I must confess I've never heard of before. So thank you for watching everybody, take care, and I'll see you soon.